One thing that uh, su- surprised me a little was how much people took to the textbook and then actually used that to, uh, like to read each person's reflections on the chapters and then reflect on that. It's like a an understanding and appreciation and a love of the world begin to develop. It's like God created the heaven and the earth, and then He rested and said it was good. And we've been saying, no, it's bad. I'm not even going to watch the news. But now we look at all this stuff and say, no, the creation is good. And a lot of people came to terms with that, and watching how much more more dialogue came out of that forum on the reading than I expected. So that was a nice little kind of surprise for me and an interest. And then the progression as people, as the cohort, as we begin to dialogue on this, the different ways we kept coming into a strengthening sense of the core of our truth, of that loving core, and that was the essence, and so it's very important because we get stuck in our mind, our tendency is to attack that instead of stepping back, refreshing ourselves in the loving, and then re-engaging it, because when you do that, you're bigger than it, and it loosens up, and it doesn't have the illusion so much with it. In some ways, I looked at some of the forum stuff. Well, people got into this just admiration thing, and there'd be this big statement or another big statement that would just dwindle down to like a, a positive response. Well, oh, great statement, or it really touches me, or love and light. And I look at that, and that's kind of not very rigorous. It's like, so I had to ask myself, is that lazy, or just not, what's going on there? People just overwhelmed in their life or something, or then it came to it. No, it really is that. That's the core. And so, we start out by engaging each week in the forum the complexity of what our experience is that week, and then that distills out of it, where each person shares how it turned a little or changed a little for them. So as the forums went that way, so maybe that's there's a lot of sweetness to that we come to that place where that's where we bring each week, is in that place of reaffirming, reflecting back to each other that we have touched something deeper, that we've made some deeper truth available, and acknowledging that. So that was a nice little resolution for me to come to that. There's always this challenge in my position that we're building this course, and we're building it in a way that we really do want to take it deeper into the soul and have that mastery and that comfort. At the same time, we're building up this academic capacity for engaging the world with certain competencies, and then doing it in a way that we can place it in the world in a way that it's accredited. And so that's always a challenge. Like, are we having enough class time? Is there enough preparation time? Because, for every hour like this, like in the forum or in this presentation, for every hour of that, there needs to be 2 hours of preparation. And so what's that? Well, it could just include when we call each other to get advice about something. But it has to have that balance, because they're looking at this and we're doing this, internet stuff, and it has to somehow, we have to help the evaluators get that this is substantial, because they don't, unless they've had experience with it, they don't get it. And so they seem to ask these real detailed, unnecessary, I think unnecessary, but they are necessary, ways. They're trying to find ways was this really what it's represented as? See? Are we saying something to a 5-unit class when it's really a 3-unit class? That kind of thing. So we're always exploring this, what place this has in our life. So there's always this, I'm always studying this and looking at this and seeing how, what's it take for people to do this, and how do we get all this in. So it's really all of us that are doing this, because you're the pilot study. Probably in the cohort is, I guess I'm in the cohort too, and so is Greg and the other teachers. And at the same time we're doing this, we're also studying doing this, because we're building a school and we're building a curriculum. And it's been very much that as we've gone along and say, well, this is the pattern, we've become aware when we do it and engage people in it, that it always goes to a deeper understanding of it. So now that we finished the paper and we're looking back over and reflecting on our experience so far, it's what emerges from this that's new. Like, in the essence of it, we go through it and reflect on it and consider it and integrate it, and then it presents a new level. So out of that becomes a level of it we didn't see along the way. Like I was talking about the plans there, and it's kind of behind the scenes, so the negativity can't get at it. So we're going through the course as a deeper teaching, and often then we get that at the end when we've done it all and completed it all, and take our breath and recount our war story. Then there's emerges the real teaching. So at this point, I'm inviting us all to, now that we've done all this, to bring in activate the journey, the frequency of that in our consciousness, in a way that we're in a position to ask and see and experience, well, what was the real teaching? What was the real curriculum? The one that invisibly wove itself through, this semester, or all the semesters, all 3 semesters. What's the inner mystery? What's the hidden teaching here? What's the real teaching? Because as we learn and study the content, it changes ourselves in relationship to it. And so something's evolving, something acting in us and on us to bring us to a new place in consciousness, and bring us into a change in reality. So in a sense, the curriculum is going to change us into a greater level of ourselves. At the same time, in the reflexiveness of that, it's going to change our reality. So the reality we begin with and the person we begin with is a different person than we are now. So who and what are we now? Well, look forward to further conversations.